think if we're ready, can I hand over to our chair of the IEP, Pat Russell, who's going to take you through this afternoon's activities. Thank you, Pat.
Great, thanks ever so much, Scott, and welcome to everybody. It's great to have so many of you on this call and to be sharing some of the amazing things that we've all worked through together over the last year. Before we get into the detail of the day, we're going to start off with a new video. I hope you enjoy it. I think it's great. So let's have a look and see. Maybe a bit of a, here we go.
Hi, Helen.
Yeah, there should be sound, people. I'm sorry about that. We've got Helen on the case.
Welcome to the IEP employability journey. What does that journey feel like from two different perspectives? All employability practitioners are keen to do a good job, knowing people will rely on them to have the answers. Losing a job can be extremely stressful and can throw up problems with difficult answers. Accessing the IEP community and learning resources can prove to be a considerable asset. Having enrolled on an employability programme, participants may have concerns about the reality of the appropriate support and guidance. Goals. The IEP is dedicated to supporting the people who support others to gain work, progress in work and retain work. By working closely with IEP peers and their participants, an effective practitioner can create a bespoke package of tools to support individual needs. The IEP is here to support all employability professionals everywhere to be the best that they can be. For more information about how you can learn, develop, network, achieve and help more people as a member of the IEP, visit our website www.myiep.uk.
That's great. I hope you all enjoyed that. Obviously, it'll be loaded up onto YouTube and be available to everyone. But we're really excited by the idea that we can actually explain to people in very simple terms what it means to be an IEP, both an IEP member and an employability professional. And we think this is going to be really useful and exciting, particularly for new people. Attracting new people into the profession. So it'd be great to get your feedback on that and see where we go with it. But now I'll move into the meeting proper. We'll have a quick look at the agenda. You've all had a copy of that, so I'm not going to say too much, other than, as always, the IEP AGM is more than just the formal business, which we will be doing later on in the day, but actually it's about celebrating what we've achieved across all our members, individuals and organisations, and celebrating success as well. So we'll move forward into the first main item of the day, which is to say a big thank you, first of all, to CTEC Plus for sponsoring the event. And John Baumbach, the Managing Director for CTEC Plus, is going to say a few words. Thanks. And there will be a little pause. John is actually joining us through a video rather than in person because of issues that he's had with the diary today. So Helen's just loading this up.
Good afternoon, everybody. COVID-19 has made a lasting impact on our daily lives. Work and family life dramatically changed as people adapted to the restrictions placed on the UK during the first lockdown. The new three-tiered local alert levels will add additional complexity on the employability sector as it attempts to navigate the winter. The increase in unemployment levels is a clear indication of the emerging social and economic consequences of the pandemic. The government has tough choices to make to stimulate the UK's economic recovery. To stimulate a rapid economic recovery, a greater focus on active labour market policies, which supports reskilling workers, upskilling new entrants into the labour market, and enhanced employment assistance, is needed to better support disabled people and vulnerable job seekers at this time of great uncertainty. This is an opportunity to develop a new strategy for employability and skills that delivers targeted interventions that will help more people find and sustain employment. By delivering a new support programme that focuses on employment and skills development, better progress could be made. At the core of this new strategic approach should be a commitment to help those furthest away from achieving sustained employment. More collaboration between JCP, WHP and further education providers needs to be given greater priority. I read with interest Dame Louise Casey's comments this morning regarding the impact of coronavirus on the poorest in society. As providers, we must be mindful of the impact any new activation programme may have on the most vulnerable. With employers having a huge choice of job seekers to choose from, it is our duty to ensure we safeguard jobs and opportunities for the most vulnerable, rather than turning our back just to chase a target. Skills and employment investment will be a growing priority as the UK looks outward and establishes new economic ties across the world. CTEC believes that the government should seize the initiative during this recovery by targeting the skills and sectors that will give the UK a competitive advantage in the future. This will also mean equipping future generations with the tools to succeed in a global market which is highly competitive. A commitment to strengthen technical education, focusing on the digital jobs of the future and advanced industries like energy production, could help provide a solid base to create a more dynamic workforce. The employability sector is on the front line of helping people back into work. The expansion of the WHP through JETS will help some of those recently made unemployed due to the coronavirus, but it is important to recognise that the true scale of unemployment has not peaked, and this means the DWP will want to closely monitor the rollout to measure the impact. Our sector must work differently. As part of our delivery assessment criteria for JETS, CTEC prioritised a digitally enabled delivery model. This virtual mix of one-to-one, group and digital application-based interventions is aimed at helping participants to develop greater confidence working online, to seek employment and develop new IT skills, to sustain working remotely. Self-employment and encouraging entrepreneurial freedom to create wealth is a potential route for the government to aid the UK's economic recovery. This means optimising the conditions for new startup businesses with incentives to attract income and investment. As part of JETS, CTEC will deploy a self-employment and enterprise coaching team of specialist self-employment advisors to help participants develop a business plan, startup activity and support the first year of operation. There is potentially a growing number of people who may favour the flexibility of self-employment as a result of the current public health restrictions and the need to work remotely. Moving on to cares, we were successful in all the regions we bid, and we see this as the start of a great opportunity to build back better, and collectively we can be in the driving seat to make real change. But for me, it's about partnerships. Partnerships is key to ensure that no one is left behind. As we gear up for the first call-off contract, we've been engaging with over 300 partners that expressed an interest in working with us. As a prime, we worked with numerous partners to deliver a range of services across employability, skills and justice to help the most disadvantaged find work. Our partnerships include a range of grassroots VCSEs that we support and nurture to grow and develop both capacity and capability. With our expertise, commitment to our values and a focus on delivering tailored quality services, we also partner with other primes as a key and high-performing member of their supply chains, providing a range of end-to-end and specialist employability services. The recovery from COVID-19 should be viewed as an opportunity to address some of the employment challenges faced not only by people losing their jobs during the winter, but those groups of people who have been out of work for a significant period of time. A new joint national programme offering employability and skills services could help upskill communities that felt forgotten for decades. This type of provision requires a refreshed strategy that matches the government's ambitions to get people back into work and provide workers with the types of transferable skills they will need to pursue a wider pool of employment opportunities. Front-loading investment in the recovery through a plan for employability and skills will support efforts to recover the economy after we get through the winter and leave a lasting legacy as employers are able to draw on more highly skilled workers in the future. In January, we were fortunate enough to move to an employee ownership structure, and that has allowed us to embed our long-held belief that employees should have a stronger voice at their place of work. This has allowed us to align our governance structure, engagement and culture behind a common goal to deliver real social value through the services we provide. We believe that putting employees in the driving seat of helping to shape the direction of the business better informs our own response to the social and economic challenges caused by the pandemic. I'm passionate about giving our people the right tools and skills to excel in their roles. I've always thought that the employability as a sector is undervalued and that the people are too. I've always been a keen supporter of the IEP's work to professionalise and seek acknowledgement of the people working in the sector. The Level 2 IEP accredited induction, which we've built in partnership with the IEP, is recognised as the industry benchmark for introduction to the sector for employability practitioners. This is especially important now with the need to support economic and social recovery given the scale of the unemployment crisis, plus new programmes that will lead to demand in skilled employability practitioners. We'll hear more about our induction later on. And the Level 4 Employability Practitioner Apprenticeship we're delivering gives our staff a genuine, defined career path in the sector. Over the years, we have all lost too many good people to other sectors, and these qualifications give staff in the industry the potential of a lifelong and rewarding career. Investing in staff development is at the heart of what we stand for. For us, no one left behind isn't just for our service users, it's for our staff too. Thank you for listening, and I'd like to thank the IEP for giving me the opportunity to make the keynote speech today. Thank you all and have a great meeting.
Thank you very much there, John. Some really important themes covered in his talk there, and I'm sure they'll resonate with everyone on the call. I think three particular things came out for me. One is the importance of partnerships. The second is about opportunities and seeing what potential there is. And the third thing for me was about investing in staff and long-term development, really what the IEP is all about. So thank you for setting us up, John, for a really interesting AGM, I think. So I'm now going to hand over to Scott, who is going to take us through the progress report and tell us what we've been doing over the last year. Thanks, Scott.
Okay, thanks, Pat. Yeah, as is the norm, every year we produce a progress report. The whole idea is that we're able to update you on some of the stuff that we've been doing. So I'd like to take you through some of the headlines today. Everybody on the call that registered within time would have received this item as part of their kind of AGM pack, along with some of the stuff that Pat will be going through in a moment in the core business of the AGM. But we do like to take this opportunity to let members know what we've been doing, how we've been using their membership money, as it were, and how we've been hopefully making a difference to their membership and also the wider community within employability. So as I say, I just want to go on to some of the headlines of the progress report. And I've tried to kind of contextualize this in a number of different sections. So I'd like to start by talking about our accredited and non-accredited, our regulated and our non-regulated qualifications, and the other learning that we provide through the IEP Knowledge Bank, which for those of you that use on a regular basis see that it is built upon every single week. But I think for the first time this year, and John mentioned in his keynote, the level 4 apprenticeship standard and the level 2 IEP accredited sector induction. But the really exciting news on top of that exciting career pathway is that we now have centre approval for a level 3 certificate in employability practice. And that's a significant step for both the IEP as an institute and also our membership and the people that we look after. In the event space, for the first time this year, we hosted our IEP Summit. And the idea around that, and we did deliver against the idea, was that it was a debating conference, an opportunity for people to come together and really network. Everything was in plenary. There were no workshops, albeit they have absolute value, but we wanted to keep everyone together. We wanted to make sure that people got the opportunity to hear from some amazing speakers, then have a responder from the employability sector to make sure that it was for our sector, and then get the opportunity to ask questions and debate and challenge and have a proper conversation. And that happened in the networking sessions. This year also, with our partner Cognisoft, we delivered the first ever digital technology conference. How timely was that, given the challenges we were facing through COVID and people working remotely? And once again, that was a massive success. And I'll come on to some of the numbers as I move through this short presentation. For the first time ever, we're hosting our AGM online, and that's not without its challenges. But I'm hoping we bring something of real use and some real learning to you as we normally do when we are face to face. And hopefully next year we'll get back together in real life. We've started a series of members' lunches, whether they be fellows or members, where people can really get together and talk about the topics of the day and the challenges that they're facing. And I think that's really important, and was really important in lockdown and some of the challenges around COVID. But I think we've realised that touch point and that human interaction is really important going forward also. And very much in line with the principles around learning and development, we instigated a series of live learn lunches, which have been universally regarded highly for their impact for people who have had to work remotely, but also in terms of the learning points and the variety of things that have been included in that. So many different topic areas, and we still have lots and lots of those live learn lunch webinars to go for the rest of the year and beyond. With the strategy agenda, we've worked very closely with DWP on a number of work streams for the future market strategy. We've worked with various partners, and we've developed a wider strategic profile. And we've worked with lots of other strategic leaders that maybe we hadn't worked with in the past. And clearly, as you'll see from the numbers in a moment, the fellowship within the IEP has grown pretty massively this year. And actually that means that we've got lots and lots of people who are actively engaged in assisting the work as we move forward, as we do through the membership. I think one of the key significant factors for me, and the last thing that I'll mention in this section, is the response we made to the lockdown challenges. And Pat refers to this in her piece within the progress report. we took very early on, and I mean very early on, within minutes, if not hours, we took the decision that our response, quite understandably, because we work with people who serve people, would be very, very human. It would be absolutely about the challenges that individuals are going to face, and then trying to perceive the challenges that their participants, their customers would face. And for me, that was really important. So it was supportive, it was progressive, and it filled a need. And it's really nice that Shirley's put something up about the Live Learn lunches have been invaluable. So thank you very much for that, Shirley. And so just over to the numbers, because we've got some headline numbers here, which always make interesting reading. So if you look at this, we've delivered a series of Live Learn lunches, we've already said that. And we've delivered, our fellowship has increased. And we're developing more and more partnerships. But if you look at the amount of minutes that have been delivered through the Digital Technology Conference or the Live Learn lunch, it's pretty astounding where that development has gone. And if you think about it, that's 6 months of the last year. So as we move through the coming year, those numbers, if we equate them back to that, are going to grow significantly. Our YouTube channel is getting more and more hits on a much more regular basis. We have subscribers for the first time on the YouTube channel, and people are seeing that. There is one video there that we took from the Better Health Generation, which has 1,200 views. And it's pretty phenomenal that people are going back and revisiting those areas of learning, and then sharing it with participants or customers, and sharing it with colleagues. And that's what we're about. We're a movement, and we're a group of people that want to do the best we possibly can. But we couldn't do any of that without our partners. And over the next 2 or 3 slides, we have examples of who our partners are. And I hope you see some organizations there that you recognize, that are familiar to you, and maybe the organization in which you work. But I think the most important thing of putting that up here is there's such a variety of people that we work with across the sector, whether they be strategic partners, whether they deliver services, whether they deliver services to those that deliver services. It's pretty broad, or whether they're strategic organizations that help create policy. We've also been involved in a number of task forces as a direct result of the COVID situation. So what are we going to do next? What are we going to do in the coming year? Well, some of it is more of the same, because it's successful and it really works and it delivers need, but we're not going to stand still. The really important thing is that we continue on our journey of delivering support to the employability sector as we move forward. We're going to continue to review our offer, and we're going to make sure that our service delivers against the need, whether that be in lockdown or beyond. We're going to make sure that is the case. We're going to deliver and develop further learning content. That's really important. That's one of the things that I'm most proud of this year. We're going to be reaching more people, home and abroad. Our vision statement, employability practices everywhere are the best they can be. We genuinely believe that. We genuinely believe that employability practice is the same the world over. And we've got a lot to offer in terms of bringing learning to those individuals. We want to pick up a number more research opportunities. You may have seen that we published a labour market intelligence report this week, and in a couple of 3 weeks we'll be publishing a report on the work we've been doing in consultation around collaboration, in collaboration about collaboration, which is fantastic. We're going to continue to develop strategic partnerships at all levels, because they're the only way that we get things done and really make a difference. And for those of you able to attend the summit, the Digital Technology Conference, and other conference-based activities this year, well, the good news is we are repeating them in 2021. So watch this space, look out for how you can engage with that, and we'd be really pleased to bring that to you. So that's what I've got to say for now. It's been a really good year working with you all. I'm really grateful for all of your support, because we couldn't do it without everybody on this call and all the other people that can't be here today. But thank you very much. And back over to Pat really quickly to introduce our next item.
Thanks very much, Scott. You covered a lot of ground there, and I know there's so much more that you could have spoken about. So for anyone who's been to any of our recent AGMs will know that we actually love to showcase success stories. And we don't just do that by having people in business suits talking, although with Zoom, I think business suits are still in the cupboard to a great extent. However, what we really want to do is see and hear from the people who've lived the journey, what it means to have experienced employability support. So we're now going to move over to Yasin from HQ Recordings, who's going to tell us a bit more and introduce the next session. While Helen launches the video. Thanks.
Hi everybody. Hi Scott. Hi everyone at the IEP. Thanks for having us again. Yeah, real shame we can't all be doing it in person, but the show must go on. So I'm Yasin El Ashrafa. I'm the Managing Director of HQ Recording Studio, HQ Familiar Record Label, and HQ Can CIC. So what we do, we use music and mentoring to work with like young people to help them get into the music industry and to just re-engage them basically. But a couple of the artists I've been working with lately are going to give you a couple of songs. So first up, we've got Fionn Rebecca. She's going to sing something for you.
Hey guys, so the first song I'm going to start with for you guys is Stuck, which is one I released over lockdown, and it's still very relevant now. So I hope you guys enjoy it. I've got all of this time, and I've got nothing to write. No, I feel so stuck here. I'm all alone with my thoughts, staring out to the clouds. I wanna see you, dear. And I know there's no way to get over if I don't abide by the rules. And I know you know that we cannot get closer until we all fight through. Oh, 'cause we're stuck in this together. We don't wait, then the world won't get better. And I can't tell you any other way. No, 'cause we're stuck for not much longer. If we don't stay in, then the world won't get stronger. And I will see you soon, but I can't wait. No, I can't wait. I know that it's hard, 'cause I feel it too. When all that I want and I dream about is you. And I have those days that blend into one, when night becomes day and day is no longer fun. But I will get through, so can you, so can, 'cause we're stuck in this together. We don't wait, then the world won't get better. And I can't tell you any other way. No, 'cause we're stuck Thank you so much. And thank you to everybody here for having me as well and allowing me to perform. So I'm going to jump straight on to the next track, and it's called Promises. And this one's coming out very soon. So if you like it, make sure to follow me on social media. Thank you for listening. There was a time not long ago where I let the love flowers burn. There's nothing better than a drug like desire that I kept on pushing, 'cause it got me higher. And that's when you promised me, baby, you won't ever leave me this way. You did anyway. Yeah, you did anyway. Not long ago, I needed you so. You were my lifeline, barely alive. But now that I've grown and you've left me alone, the stars have aligned, my dear. That means the end is near. And that's when you promised me, baby, you won't ever leave me this way. You did anyway. Yeah, you did anyway. And that's when you promised me you won't leave me. I don't need you like I used to do. I'm not coming back, 'cause I'm better off on my own. And that's what you said when you lied in my bed. Yeah, that's what you said. That's what you said. And that's when you promised me, baby, you won't ever leave me this way. Yeah, you did anyway. Cool.
Wow, that's Theo and Rebecca. So, yeah, thanks again. We're going to take a bit of a break, and we're going to be back in a little while with Alice Cube. So, in the meantime, enjoy the rest of your meeting, and we'll see you in a bit.
Well, thanks very much, Yazin. Looking at all the comments that people have put in the chat, I think that's definitely a 10 from us. And for those of you perhaps who joining us for the first time at an AGM, just to let you know that Yazin and HQ Recordings and HQ, CIC are old friends of the IEP, and they're an amazing organisation. It's a social enterprise based in Leicester, as he said, that helps young people who've been experiencing unemployment or mental health issues to realise their dreams in the musical world. So it just goes to show that the faith that Yazin has in these young people really bears fruit, and we're certainly looking forward to the next session. So we now move on to our next agenda item, and I'm going to hand over to Stuart Holdsworth, who's going to talk to the title, Welcome to the Employability Sector, Making a Difference in Devastating Times. Stu, over to you.
Thank you, Pat. I'm not really sure how I follow that last segment. It was amazing, wasn't it? So what we wanted to do was really sort of an opportunity to talk about the largely about the IEP induction and how we've taken that induction and used that very recently, and sort of hopefully try and bring that to life for you on the call today. So I guess all of us here are really know about the economic impacts and the sort of challenges we face as a society from the pandemic. I guess we just don't know how bad it's going to be, but one thing we do know is that employability, and specifically employability practitioners, will be right at the heart of that recovery, providing the critical support to help people find and return to work. So, as employability providers, we need to match this sudden scale of unemployment with good people to support them. Essentially, this is a recruitment drive on a scale that the sector has never really seen before. And I suppose if we're to have a think about the sense of that scale, we could think about what we've seen in terms of the government's response. And if we just look initially at the Work and Health Programme JETS, recruiting 1,700 people over the next 12 months at a value of 200 million. And what do we know about the first programme coming through the CARES framework? To be in excess of 1 billion. And if, for argument's sake, we were to model that on the work programme, which is at a value of 3.5 billion, I suppose, we could then start to get a figure, even being conservative and allowing for technology to play its part in reducing some of that staffing need. I think, you could settle in a figure in the region of at least 10,000 new people into the sector over the next few years. And that's on top of the 13,500 work coaches that are being recruited by DWP that they want in place by March next year. So that's a huge job, isn't it? It's a huge job, but it's for all of us. But it's a fantastic opportunity for us. We can create rewarding careers for so many new people at a time when they're really needed. And I think where this comes from is it's a critical part of both that immediate need for recruitment and the building blocks of a career is an effective induction that provides a clear learning opportunity and baseline of knowledge for people coming into the sector, essentially the foundation blocks of being a good employability practitioner. This then supports us to have a workforce up to speed and providing a quality employability service as quickly as possible, which is of course we need. So recognising the importance of this, we partner with IEP to create something for the sector to meet that challenge, and for us, and essentially, that's how the IEP induction, which is now accredited to level 2 by IEP, sort of came about. I think that's probably enough by way of a bit of scene setting. I suppose what I want to do now is hand over to my colleague Christian, who led on the development of this induction with the IEP, and also the development of our JETS induction, which hopefully you'll see when it's recently gone live, but it puts that IEP industry induction at its heart, but builds on that then to create a truly sort of tailored and comprehensive induction for those new to CTEC Plus, the company, to the programme, but also to the wider sector. So Christian, can I hand over?
Yeah, of course you can. Thanks, Stu, and welcome everyone. Thanks for the opportunity to speak to you today, and nice to see some old faces in the room today that I haven't seen for a while. So thanks for this. Yeah, as Stuart said, we sort of re-engaged with the IEP at the start of 2020 to sort of look at how we could utilise the resources that we already had and try and sort of map that towards a level 2 qualification or accreditation, if you like. The plan was originally to review and adapt that content over time, and I stress the overtime bit at the moment, to make it more sector specific rather than some of the stuff being more CTEC Plus generic. And the idea was to create that content for the IEP to plug into their learning management system. Then, of course, as we know, COVID hit and the world pretty much changed overnight. Everything face-to-face pretty much became impossible, from interviewing to training, meetings, parties, and even family gatherings. Everything moved to Zoom or online in one way, shape, or form. And there hasn't been any choice for people. Everyone has had to adapt to the new online world, whether that's in work or outside, really. And of course, jobs and organizations are at massive risk during these times. Just referring back to the developing the content over time bit, that sort of became a requirement to review that content overnight. Because of the changes that had happened with COVID, we wanted to try and get material available to the IEP and its partners and members as soon as we possibly could. And I think we managed to get all of that done sort of middle of August. And then, of course, all of a sudden, Jets has been ready to take off in our employability world. So a new contract, more IT reliant and remote than anything else that's ever been delivered before. Probably a shorter implementation period than anything before of this magnitude as well. So how would that impact us? How are we going to turn that around? How are we going to recruit, onboard, induct, and engage our new employees from day one, really? The good news for us was that we already had some learning content and a learning management system in place that we could work with as a starting point. But that wasn't enough. We've had to put a lot of work into that, working with ops and HR and different parts of the business to get it right. And we had to get that ready for 78 people started in our business on the 21st of September. And another 62, I think, just started Monday. So yeah, loads of work went in a short period of time to try and build a robust induction that would make a difference to the people joining the business and engaging in them as early as we could. But of course, when you're looking at an online, purely remote induction process, you have to drill it down to every half hour of the day of activity to be delivered. And of course, all of this stuff has had to be delivered virtually. So we're sort of 4 weeks down the line with our first cohort, at the end of 4 weeks. But the first 2 weeks of our induction program is pretty full on. Loads of information, of course, and it's pretty crammed, and it will continue to be so. But we've sort of broken it down into week one is like an introduction to the business, understanding our culture, how we like to operate, getting a feel for the systems. Week two is all about understanding and get a deeper understanding of the systems and processes in terms of the contract. We then spend week three consolidating that and building scenarios for people to work with. And then week four is transition into go live, really, and getting people ready to hit the ground running. So yeah, we're sort of 4 weeks down the line with our first couple of cohorts. It's been probably the most challenging couple of months I've ever been through, bringing everything online and having to manage all of that. But it's been amazing, a really great experience. And I've loved technology and I love learning, so it suits me down to the ground. Our program sort of decreases in intensity over time, but we still have learning material to be drip fed through for the next 8 weeks of that induction. And we've had really, really positive feedback from our new colleagues. We've reviewed stuff weekly with them. We've asked them to be really honest about their experience, and the feedback we've had so far has been really, really positive. So I guess what I'm saying really is that if you haven't embraced the technology yet, you're going to need to at some point. There's some great resource available from the IEP to help you, but you're going to need to fill in the gaps. And it's essential that ops, HR, and L&D all work together with the technology to help us achieve our aim, which is to change as many lives as possible. So I hope that's been a really quick whistle-stop tour. I hope that's been useful. So thanks for the opportunity to let me explain what we've done with our induction. Thank you, Stu.
Thank you, Christian. And then just to, it's okay, myself and Christian are giving you guys an overview, but I thought what we thought would be really valuable was to hear from one of our brand new recruits into the business who has lived that and is going through our induction at the moment. So if I can welcome Frankie.
Hi there.
Hi Frankie. So I'm going to ask Frankie a few questions in this sort of last section to wrap up. So Frankie, do you want to start by telling us a bit about yourself and your new role within CTech Plus?
Absolutely, and thanks for having me. And so, yeah, I am a business manager. I previously, not anymore, but worked for a global recruiter for the past sort of 10 to 15 years. So I've got some hopefully strong transferable skills into this sector, but recruitment is very different to employability. So obviously I'm brand new in that respect. And so I have been looking to make my transition out of recruitment for a little while, did my level 5 CIPD in HR management and realised actually it was the employability sector that I was most interested in, not generalist HR. Took a degree to work that out, but there we are. It was useful nonetheless. And then that's how I found CTech really. And my role within CTech, I have a team made up of employability trainers. I've got a digital trainer coming, I believe, in 2 weeks. And then we've got employment advisors and assistant employment advisors. And my role really is just to guide, support and encourage them to give the participant the best journey possible, really.
Thank you, Frankie. So knowing that, I guess this would be a very different type of induction experience when you're joining the company.
Just a bit.
Yeah. Can you tell us a bit about how you were feeling before you started?
Well, I mean, before you start any role, everyone's always a little bit apprehensive, aren't you? So that was natural, but I suppose there was like a different layer of it this time because you're not going into a new environment. But then I did also think you actually don't have the added pressures of having to embed in a new environment. Every mug in this house is mine, so there was none of that sort of business. But I mean the induction and all the stuff that came through before. So in regards to the IT kit, we were given plenty of notice of exactly what our week 1 was going to look like, which was really, really key for me to feel much calmer. So I think once the IT kit arrived and the schedule arrived, I had just the natural butterflies that you get before starting work. But it was clear how much attention to detail and care and thought had been put into such a structured schedule. And that was a great first impression, really. So yes, a bit apprehensive, but it was so clear that it didn't faze me too much.
As you say, if all the mugs are dirty in the sink, you can't blame anyone else.
Well, exactly. And the water cooler chats that you might want to have actually ended up happening in all the beautiful team times that were put in. So we were able to kind of have that camaraderie a little bit across the video call, I suppose. So, and that was quite interesting as well.
Great, and they're really important things that we all fear that we miss actually from being in that office environment. So given, as you say, you came from recruitment and weren't necessarily already in employability or the welfare to work sector, how was day 1 of the induction?
Well, it's a commendment to Christian and everybody else that worked tirelessly to put it together because it was so organised and efficient. And it was jam-packed as well, so you didn't really get time to think too much about what was happening next. But it was bite-sized. It was easily digested, yet whilst being quite full-on, as Christian said as well. I mean, for me, coming brand new into the sector, the employability module was one of the first things that we were introduced to as part of our induction, and for me that was so key because it took me through identifying the stakeholders, the history of employability and the support that this country has given that sector, and then obviously the structure of the participant journey, so engaging, exploring, enhancing, employing, and then even onto sort of the barriers and then caseload management techniques such as the GROW technique and pieces like that I had circled around me in my previous role but never had that sort of focus. And so for me, those e-learning modules were really key for sort of making me feel embedded within not only CTech Plus but as the JETS program as a whole, I suppose.
Great, thank you. Okay, so that was day 1. What we're now 4 weeks in, and you're busily delivering the program and running your team, which is growing as well. Can you tell us how it's going?
Well, I have to confess, I feel like I've won the team lottery, and I don't mean to sound corny or anything with that, but they're all just brilliant and just taken everything in their stride, really highly capable individuals who, and I suppose the ethos across all of them has been exactly the same, and they're just really passionate to make a difference in and help people who have gone through what has been some of the, the worst year of most people's lives, really, in regards to, the people that we're talking to. And it's just lovely to be able to support them in making a difference. And it's just a testament again to the team that put everything together as to how well we're doing. And I will say that after this call, I should be confirming our first start, which on our first week live, I'm happy with. So we should have somebody already back into work with only 1 week live, so it shows that it works.
Brilliant news. That's great to hear. That's what we do it for, isn't it? Yes, just given the fact that you came from perhaps sort of outside of the sector, but of course given the sort of scale and the numbers that of sort of new recruits that we're looking for coming into this sector, and seeing your team and the recruitment that you've done, what do you think are the most important transferable skills that you've seen you need for a career in this sector?
I think what I mentioned, Paul, previously is the passion. It has to be there. You have to have that sort of passion and that commitment to want to support and want to help people. And sometimes that might need quite a lot of patience. And sometimes that might need enthusiasm. These people have, some have had real confidence knocks. So it's about, you don't want to sound like the Brady Bunch, as it were, on the end of the phone when somebody's. So it's just also being able to read the participant. And I suppose with that, the skill would be an active listener. Somebody who really just listens, takes in everything, and then really thinks about their response, because these conversations are so key to these participants in their lives generally. So but yeah, so I suppose active listening, passion and commitment, empathy, and for me and my team, I've just said, let's just keep it positive and keep smiles. And I think that's key in every single aspect of this job, really, is just to ensure that everyone's keeping positive and upbeat, really. I hope that answers it. I think that was lots of answers.
It is, Frank, and I think the thing is, we could probably have a whole session, which IEP absolutely have, and we'll continue to do around that sort of really key important topic. I imagine there's others within your team that have come from outside the sector too, Frankie.
Massively so. I've got an English teacher as my employability trainer. Pete is absolutely fantastic, and he's actually been doing training sessions with not just my team, with other team members across our region who we've identified might need some extra support. And then Kamal had worked in the job centre nearly 20 years ago, and has come back to the sector having worked in hospitality. So that's, there's that side of things. And then Steve is ex-retail manager. So it couldn't be more diverse, couldn't be more varied, but they're all just so willing, and I think that's the key, really.
Thank you, Frankie. I'd love to carry on the this interview of sorts, but I guess conscious of time, and I think what just to close, I suppose that it doesn't, what we're seeing and what we're seeing here through living that experience is that regardless of where individuals are coming from into the sector, actually, if you've got that passion, that commitment, partnering with the likes of IEP, we can provide that knowledge base and the skills, to make a difference and actually become really effective employability practitioners, which is what we need. Thank you, Frankie. Thank you. Thank you, and thank you, Pat. I'll hand back.
That's fabulous. Thank you very much to Frankie and Christian for that insight. And the comments that we're seeing in the chat box as well really say it all. I think those of us that have been in the employability sector, the employability profession for many years, have always known that it's a fabulous job, that there are some amazing and passionate people here, and it's truly a profession where you can feel proud of what you do. And I think we're seeing more and more people come and join us, people like Frankie and on her team, and some other colleagues are saying the same thing. So let's get the word out there, because we have some fabulous opportunities coming up for people who may well be facing some challenges in other sectors. Lots to look forward to there. So we come to the point in the agenda where we're going to do our formal business. So if we turn to the next slide, please, Helen.
My baby don't mess around because he loves me so, and this I know for sure. But does he really wanna, but can't stand to see me walk out the door? Don't try to fight the feeling, 'cause the thought alone is killing me right now. Thank God for Mom and Dad for sticking two together, 'cause we don't know how. And I was saying, hey, 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 hey. You think you got it, oh, you think you got it, but got it, just don't get it till there's nothing at all. We get together, oh, we get together, but separate's always better till there's feelings involved. If what they say is nothing lasts forever, then what makes love an exception? So why, oh why, oh why, oh why, oh why are we so in denial when we know we're not happy? And I was saying, hey, hey, yeah, hey, hey, and I was like, shake it, shake, shake it, shake it, shake, shake it, shake it, shake, shake it, shake it like a Polaroid picture. Shake it, shake, shake it, shake it, shake, shake it, shake it, shake, shake it, shake it like a Polaroid picture. I said, now ladies, yeah, yeah, what's cooler than being cool? It's ice cold, ice cold, ice cold, oh, no. And I was saying, hey, hey, yeah, oh, hey, yeah, hey, hey, yeah. Thank you. So that was my cover of Hey Ya by Outkast. And then I'm going to do an original now. This one's called Come On Over. It's one of the most recent songs that I have wrote. And I'm planning it for it to be on my EP that I'll be releasing next year. It is unreleased, so you're getting a version of it today that no one else has heard. Need to get rid of the capo. Baby, won't you come on over? You got a lot to prove. Don't worry, it's not over. Just show me what you can do. And I want judge you, no, just hold me like you used to. Cold in the summer, hot in the winter, my mood changes one after the other, and I don't know how to feel about you. We're getting closer, it's getting harder. Feels like yesterday since I first got to know you, and I don't know how to feel about you. Baby, won't you come on over? You got a lot to prove. Don't worry, it's not over. Just show me what you can do. And I won't judge you, no, just hold me like you used to. Let's not waste no time, 'cause life is passing by. We can make it better if you come over tonight. And it makes no sense for you to be afraid. Baby, come on over, we can start it all again. No, start it all. Start it all again. Start it all again. Baby, won't you come on over? You got a lot to prove. Don't worry, it's not over. Just show me what you can do. And I won't judge you, no. Just hold me like you used to. And I've been thinking I'll never make the same mistakes again. I've been thinking I'll never make the same. I've been thinking I'll never make the same mistakes again. I've been thinking, oh baby, won't you come on over? You got a lot to prove. Don't worry, it's not over. Just show me what you can do. And I won't judge you, no. Just hold me like you used to. Thank you very much, and thank you for having me. I hope you're enjoying your day, and see you all soon.
Thank you, Alice. So yeah, hope you all enjoyed that. That was Alice Cube. Earlier on you heard from Fionn Rebecca. So I'm Yasin Al-Ashrafi. So if you want to search any of us, if you search for @Fionn Rebecca, that's FFION Rebecca, or it's Alice Cube, and that's on all platforms, I think. Is that right? Yeah. Feel free to unmute your microphones and give them a little round of applause as well if you want. And thanks again to everyone else at the IEP. And hopefully next year we'll be there with you in person, having some drinks and nibbles. But yeah, enjoy the rest of it. Yeah, take care.
That was great, Alice and Yazin. Thanks so much. And we too hope that we can all be together again next year. Every year you bring us something incredibly special. I'm sure that Scott will pass on all the wonderful comments that people have made back to Yazin for both Fionn and Alice there. So great. Moving on to the next segment, I'm just going to hand straight over to Mark and Genevieve, who are going to talk about my story, life and work after COVID-19.
So Genevieve's just gone to next door.
Hello.
Yeah, hello.
So thank you for having us here today. Mark and I, if it's okay, just going to talk through our journey of how we've been supporting him during the COVID-19 pandemic. Can you hear me all right, Mark?
Yeah, I hear you fine, thanks.
Great, okay. So Mark, it's probably quite useful to give people a bit of an insight into what you were doing pre-COVID. So do you just want to talk through what life was like before COVID?
Yeah, so I've just moved into a hotel and where I was working, and then all of a sudden COVID came along and it sort of changed my life a bit.
Yeah.
Living in the place, and I lost my job and where I lived at the same time.
So you were living in at the hotel, weren't you? And work was also your social life, I think, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah, so it was a massive change for you. So you had to look at finding somewhere else to live, is that right?
Yeah, and a lot of help from a lot of different people, and they helped me find a flat which was really suitable for me. So.
And if we just talk about your journey back into work, because you were actually locked in the hotel, weren't you, during lockdown? So you just want to maybe talk through what happened when it was all announced the hotel was going to close?
Well, when it was going to close down, there's only about 6 people living in, and we had a few games of snooker just to keep our time sometimes. Sort of like we had our meals in the same room because we all were living in the same place.
Yeah.
We did a bit of cleaning and a bit of just to make sure it'd be right when they come back to work.
Yeah. So the hope was really there that the hotel would open back up after lockdown and life would kind of go back to normal, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was. We were all expecting to get back to work.
Yeah. So you kind of had to move out of the hotel then, and I know the local council helped to support you back into some form of housing, was that right?
Yeah, there was a few other places, space and a few other places.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
So yeah, Torbay has really looked after you, I think, in terms of getting you back on your feet. And then you were referred to us, and then should we just maybe talk through the type of things that we did together to help you to find work?
Filling application forms, which is one of my worst things, is application forms. Doing my up-to-date CV, which was 2 jobs were missing on there, so I had to do an up-to-date one. Which was,
yeah.
And passing some CVs out in Painting Town, and going on a few interviews with Genevieve came along and helped me there and helped me with the passing out the CVs.
Yeah, because what I think we were finding, Mark, and correct me if I'm wrong, was that, you know, lots of people were all going for the same job, weren't they? And I think, you know, you were really good in putting your applications in, but the competition, I think, in such a small area was quite high. So we sort of took the approach that we went out knocking on doors, didn't we, armed with CVs and a coffee in our hand, and we went out and found some roles, didn't we?
Yeah, we did. Found some other jobs out there which came handy for other people.
Yeah. So do you want to talk us through now the process of obviously what life is like for you now? Because you've been successful in getting another job now. So do you want to talk through maybe that?
Big and bright. It's nice to have a job and getting into something, because you get into a slump when you're not working, and you certainly want to get above that. And getting into a job, it really helps. And with people helping you, it really helps even more. Yeah.
What's been the best thing about getting back into work, would you say, to people?
Meeting other people as well, making more friends, and it's quite easy to make friends and sort of know you're doing something useful and not sitting around, or as if I would sit around, but
yeah. And just nice to have a pay packet, you know, at the end of the month, isn't it? I know you've got your first wages coming up soon.
Yeah.
You're going to treat yourself to something nice. And we were talking earlier about when you came in, didn't you? You were saying, you know, you got called into the office and you were thinking, oh God, I've done something wrong. And what was the feedback, Mark?
Yeah, it's just someone who came in and they was looking for something. And I took them to where it was, the candles. And then she wanted something else, and I took her to someone who knew where it was. And she made a good comment saying he was very nice and polite and friendly person.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that was the thing I think was evident from when Mark walked sort of through our door, because where we were working from home and quite limited in terms of reaching out to people with what we could do, once we were able to get back into office space and get Mark in the flesh at social distance with our plastic screens up, you know, you could see that your desire to work, Mark, was second to none, and you just were happy to just get out there, and whatever it took, you were prepared to do it. So, you know, that's credit to you, Mark, and your tenacity to get back into work, because you've not experienced a massive amount of unemployment. And for you, I think it was so alien, wasn't it, to not work and be part of a team and socialize, because that was just normal life for you prior to COVID, wasn't it?
Yeah.
How would you say working is very different now with COVID, Mark? Is you know, because you're doing a cleaning role. Talk us through maybe how the role's very different now. Now we're working in a time where, you know, it's the pandemic and things are a bit different.
Yeah, but the cleaning is sort of, we got to use antibacterial stuff.
Yeah.
You got to wear a mask all the time when you're on the floor, sort of shop floor. When you're up in the canteen, you're okay, but when you're on the shop floor, you've got to wear a mask. And you got to be wary of other people around you.
Yeah. Yeah, and I think it's such a difficult time at the moment, you know, but I think with the role that you've gone into, with it being in a retail setting, hopefully you've got a secure role now that will take you on for a few more years, you know, into your future, and you can remain in work now, you know, with security, really. So what would you say to other people, Mark, about, you know, CTEC Plus and what we've all done, and you know, if anyone else was out there looking for work, what sort of things would you tell them?
With that, you're very friendly people, and you really help with CVs and help with the application forms. And there's nothing that you, if you want something, they will do it for you. They'll help you.
Yeah, that's nice. Okay, is there anything else you want to share, Mark? Or
that's it's the way it is. You're all very friendly, and you really help out very a lot. So thank you.
Oh, you're welcome. It's been a pleasure to support you, and it's nice to, you know, to see you coming in and, you know, full of self-worth now, you know, that you've got a job, and, you know, someone's giving you an opportunity in what's, you know, what's quite difficult times at the moment. So yeah, well done, Mark. Thanks for sparing the time today, Mark.
That's okay.
I don't know if anybody's got any questions.
If I jump in and just on behalf of everybody, Mark and Genevieve, thank you for that really interesting, you know, insight into some of the challenges that have been going on for you. There've been loads of comments, and you've been in the chat, and you can see that. Mark, we thank you so much for sharing your story. We're thrilled for you that you found a job and you know, you're enjoying it. That's amazing. And thanks also to Genevieve for being a truly brilliant employability professional. You're up there demonstrating what it's all about. And I think this has been just a really inspiring piece to end our AGM on, because that's what we're about. It's a profession that does good, and certainly we've seen that in front of us today. So that virtually brings us to the end. I'm going to hand over to Scott just to sort of finalise the last bit. But before I do, I would like to say a big thank you to everybody who's joined us today, to everybody who's supported the IEP over the last year. We get to where we want to be by working in collaboration, in partnership, sharing all the best of what we can do. I'd like to thank board colleagues for all the work that they do. But I think I would like to finish by thanking, on behalf of everybody, members and board colleagues, our thanks to Scott, to Helen and Heather, not only for their hard work in pulling together yet another very successful AGM in very new and occasionally trying circumstances, but for everything that they've done over this past year and especially over the past 6 months to keep us all of us employability professionals connected, motivated and supported. Brilliant team. Love everybody. Thanks, and just keep going, because there is a future, and we've got some opportunities to make real differences in real people's lives, and that's what it's about. So thank you, everyone. Enjoy the rest of the session and have a good weekend when it comes. Thanks from me. Bye bye.
Thanks, Pat. Bit of a delay there while the blushes are removed from my face. But thank you very much, Pat. Helen and Heather have particularly worked incredibly hard on getting us over the line for the AGM today. What a fantastic AGM again. Really pleased with the content. Really pleased with bringing something really different to you. And we're really grateful to everyone that supported us. So for now, those of us that are interested in sticking around for a little bit, we can have a chat. We'd normally do this networking face to face with a drink of your choice in your hand, but clearly we can't do that. You'd also probably get a sandwich or something really interesting to eat if we're all together, but maybe next year. So for those of you who didn't get the wine parcels that were sent out, then I apologize. But I think we can really have a nice chat. And for those of you who want to stick with us, by all means, let's crash the internet. Let's get your cameras on if you want to, and let's talk. Let's have a proper conversation. It would be great to see your wonderful faces. And for those people that we see on a regular basis, it would be great to see you all again. So, hi Liz, I can see you. It's really great to see you. How was that for you?
Oh, that was fantastic. I think the music was just absolutely brilliant, but also what an amazing year the IEP has had. And it's been real inspiration during lockdown to be able to attend the events. I think you brought us all together. So thank you. And also to Helen and Heather, what a brilliant job your whole team do. So well done.
Thank you. Well, they deserve all the accolades there. So nice to see you, Rebecca. How are you? Oh, you're on mute. Remember, that's the normal thing. We do this all the time.
Mute. Yeah, sorry. Yeah. No, really good. I really enjoyed that. It was great to have you guys on doing some singing again. They were a real inspiration, and lovely to have a client on. Pat, you summed it up at the end. This is what we're all about, isn't it? We talk about a lot of different things. We talk about lots of initiatives, but ultimately this is about the work we do on the front line. And so that was a really nice way to end it. Well done, everyone.
Thank you, Rebecca. Oh, and just a round of applause here for an unsung hero of the IEP, Sheila Bell, who I don't want to put you on the spot, Sheila, but it's really nice to see you there. Thank you very much for joining us. Sheila does all our bookkeeping, keeps us on the straight and narrow, wonderful resource, and we're very pleased to have her here. So how did you find that, Sheila?
No, it was brilliant. Thank you, Scott. That's a nice introduction to everybody. No, that was brilliant. I was going to say, I did like the musicy bits. That's good. So unfortunately, all I've got is water here. That's about the most exciting drink I've got.
Well, it's probably a bit early for most of us, to be honest. Although if Andy, I don't know whether Andy Milton is here. Andy Milton is renowned for joining our fellows meetings with some form of cocktail that he's concocted for lunchtime. But anyway, lovely to see you, Anne Louise. Thank you for joining us. You've been on a number of our webinars. Great to see you there. I'm happy for you to unmute and talk if you want. Teresa, really great to see you here. Thank you very much for all your help and support this year. How was that for you, Emma? I'm going to get you to talk because I know you don't like to talk. How was that for you, Emma? Emma Cook.
No, I'm sorry. I've got a household stuff going on in the background. So yeah, there's someone building a fire, and there's So
well, it's wonderful to have you here, because what people won't know is Emma has been a massive part of building and supporting the sector induction at level 2, which we've talked about quite considerably here, and is a massive thing for the sector in terms of getting people into their businesses effectively. But even more than that, Emma is building the level 3 certificate in employability practice at the moment through her organisation To Simply Learn, and that has centre approval, as I mentioned earlier, and is a proper rinky-dink qualification on the framework, on the books, and something that could be done right now, which we're really pleased about for those of us that have been somewhere along the journey over the last couple of years to get that over the line. That's a fantastic thing, and we're so pleased. So thank you as an unsung hero as well, Emma, of the IEP. Thank you so much for everything you've done. And if your colleague Les is anywhere, he was earlier, but if he's anywhere, then I would like to say a personal thank you to him as well, because he has been amazing. And the video you saw at the beginning of the session was all the handiwork of Les. Helen enabled it to happen from an IEP point of view, and Emma was our voiceover artist. So we've got some significant people doing some great stuff for us. James, good to see you. Good to see you, Sack. Some incredible times for recruitment into the sector. All these bodies, all these practicing bodies that we need. How was that for you, and what do you see the future like?
James, you want to go first, or?
Well, you're talking now, Sack. He hasn't unmuted himself. You know, James.
Yeah, so I'm Sack from S-Nights. No, it's getting busier. It's getting a lot busier. I think with the announcement of the CAER HRS, we're seeing more and more providers sort of ramp up. So I think it's a well-deserved and needed injection into the employability and skills sector. So definitely exciting times.
Great, fantastic. And James? Anything to add, James Chesham? I think he's struggling with his microphone. I can't hear him. I mean, James has always got something really important to say. I can't even say it's better that we can't hear him. But anyway, we'll come back to you, James. Emma, I was going to come to you, Emma Cook. How was that for you?
That was really good, yeah. It's a shame we're not all face to face, because obviously but actually your attendance has been quite good even on the online one, and face to face is so much nicer because you get wine at the end of it. But
well, it is true, Emma, although it's probably safer for me, because another thing that people don't know, that Emma and colleagues normally whisk me away after an AGM and they like a drink. Let's just say that.
You force the issue.
Anyway, moving on.
But no, it was a brilliant AGM, and it's great to see the same format actually, even online. So it was very good.
And we've and Louise, I didn't come to you. You did unmute yourself. So do you have anything to add?
Well, no, I was going to say, you know, again, as a newbie, it's great to come to these events, but I'm realizing I've been in my new role for at least 2 or 3 months now, so I can't say that anymore. So that's great. But I really share Frankie's enthusiasm. So it was lovely to see that passion, because I feel exactly the same, coming from a different profession, because I was in education and working with children with huge barriers to all sorts of things, socially and mental health wise. And yeah, this is great. I feel really lucky to be part of something that is just so important at the moment, and I do feel really passionate about it. And I've got so much to learn, but I'm enjoying all of it.
Well, great to have those comments, and Louise, and great to have you here. This week we launched a report with our colleagues at MZ around labour market information. So I just thought I'd go to Andy, and I'll come to Teresa about something that's coming up in a minute as well around collaboration. So Andy, we did a big launch on Tuesday. It's been a busy week, hasn't it? But it's a great way to end it with the AGM. But just you know, thoughts and reflections, and maybe feedback from the heavy data stuff that we put out on Tuesday.
Yeah, no, it's good. It was, as I put in the chat, it was really interesting to hear some of the work that we were doing to really unpick what the key skills of practitioners look like in verbalized by Frankie. That was really heartening, almost like the data is a helpful weapon in defining things for us. So hopefully for Zach and James and others, it kind of provides a little bit of ammunition to kind of start to reach out and engage people in scaling this effort for sure. And I hope also is a chance for us to go out to the masses and inspire people to understand that it's not as big a step as it might seem for some people out there that are facing challenge, quite frankly, in some of those sectors that are being disrupted greatly. So yeah, it's hopefully all round it will be helpful.
And thank you, Andy, for that. And yeah, it's been a real joy and a pleasure to be involved in that process, because we've got to have a starting point. We've got to know where we start from, and I'm sure it's not the last time that we're going to be doing work with EMSI and building on that data profiling, as it were, which clearly everything I've said there is the wrong terminology, but it doesn't matter. I don't work in data, I don't work in EMSI, but I'm very happy to work alongside. But clearly what we are creating here, I can see all these wonderful faces on the screen at the moment, is collaboration. And there has been a survey. What a great segue that was. And collaboration was key to getting the EMSI report over the line. So over to you, Teresa. In a few weeks' time, we've got some incredible stuff coming out around collaborative working, haven't we?
We have. I've been working with Dr. Joe Ingold on the collaboration piece for the IEP over the last couple of months. As you have seen, I'm sure, we sent out a survey and many requests for people to complete it. We've had a great response. If any of you wanted to do it and you thought it's too late, no, it isn't. Please do get the survey into us in the next few days, and particularly if you have any case studies. Now, I know, Emma, from what you do around the digital piece, there must be some great case studies that you have around collaborating with providers to produce a better service for customers. So I'd really like to hear about that. But it's really exciting. We've had some great write-ups from people who've really taken time to give us lots of feedback on how it works for them and how they see it working in the future. So very exciting piece of work. I'm delighted to have been able to work on it for the IEP. It's such an exciting place to be, such a great team. Absolutely love being part of it and being able to contribute and give something back. So thanks very much, and thanks to you.
And another 3 years, Teresa. So be careful what you wish for.
Yeah, great.
But it's great to have you back on board, and it's great to be continuing the amazing work we've done. I want to echo what Pat said. My absolute grateful thanks goes out to everyone that stood up this year and ran for election, a few of which are still here on the call today. And my call to action is, the more and more you get engaged, the more and more you work with us, the more and more benefit you'll see, and the more we will genuinely create this movement and change the perception that potentially government, but certainly some of the general public have about what we do. And it's interesting, I think we need to, out of absolute disaster, and I think Stuart alluded to this earlier and talked about it in his session, out of absolute disaster, we can create a model of service delivery and an understanding, because there are so many people now in this world, in this crisis situation, that never expected to be here. There will be some of those people that would have had a preconceived idea about what being unemployed or disadvantaged or challenged in a challenging situation would have been. And this has just smashed that apart. And actually now we can make an opportunity for people to really understand what it means. And that this could happen to anyone. I think, wasn't the terminology, and Rebecca, I mean, you run homelessness services, wasn't it, that anyone, pretty much anyone in the country is 2 paychecks away from living on the street? And, I don't think the general public really understand that. And
yeah, absolutely.
Is that the right statement? Sorry.
Yeah, it's very, very similar. Yeah, absolutely. I mean, obviously, I work for a church as well, so the well-known saying there, "But for the grace of God, go all of us." And I think everyone can in this climate can actually relate to that, because, as you say, there's people that have found themselves unemployed, which were in industries and had salaries which would never have thought about that. And I've been harping on about it for years, that don't be so quick to judge. You never know when you'll end up in that situation, and it's a sad state of affairs. But Teresa, just in your chat comment, then you just said, look at the caliber of people we've got in the sector now. And so, I think we're in a good place to fix the problem, and certainly the IEP and the support that it's giving to practitioners has just come a million miles, and it's just great to see.
I can't agree more, Rebecca. Thank you very much for that. And if anyone else who has not got their video on at the moment wants to talk, please switch it on. I can see your marvelous faces and you can join in the conversation. Anyone that's put anything on chat and wants to state it themselves, would be really great to hear from you. Stu, over there, current Vice Chair. Thank you very much for your delivery earlier and for waxing lyrical about how people get into the sector from other sectors. And actually, have you thought about a career as the new Parkinson or anything like that? I thought the interviewing was really interesting and very, very professional, very credible from your bedroom.
Yeah,
you've got a great voice. You've got a great voice for this, Stuart.
And he's now got the glasses, so the credibility comes with glasses. Yes.
I think it does. I've really been enjoying the glasses, to be honest, and hopefully I made them work. I've been practicing it all day in front of the mirror. So, but hey, it's. I'm going to sound like, but I don't mean to. But it's amazing. It's very easy when you interview someone like Frankie. I mean, she's fantastic, isn't she? And we're very, very lucky to have her come and work for us. So that's great. Yeah. I can't remember what else you asked me, Scott, but
just how was it for you? And I didn't ask you a question really. I was just saying how good you were in the interview thing. So maybe there's another career for you. I'm not suggesting you should move away from CTEC Plus in any way, shape or form. We still got people from there on the call. But, I just wonder, further down the line, whether there's the Stuart Holdsworth show or something like that.
Well, these audiences keep growing, Scott, the IEP, testament to the great work that you're doing. And so you never know, we are getting more and more celebs on, so I might get scouted the next
well
one.
I think you already have been scouted, because Emma Williams from Too Simple a Learner has suggested that you could do voiceovers with her for the videos. Everyone says how good your voice is, so there you go.
Well, I'll tell you what, one thing for sure, I won't be singing.
No, I'm glad for that. Thank you.
No. And they were just brilliant again. I think that's great. The format for these sessions are just brilliant.
Well, we try and bring something different, don't we, Stuart? Because all due respect to Pat, and she did an excellent job of doing the core business in a really, really good way. But actually, if you do go to a normal board AGM, it can be a little dry. If we put it honestly. And what we've always tried to do with the AGM is follow the principles of the IEP, which is quite simply learning and networking. And actually what we want to do through our AGM is make sure that we provide that facility at every touch point that we possibly can, because it's so important. Time is so precious. We don't get people together for 2 hours ever. And just having the opportunity to hear case studies, to be, have some entertainment, just relax a little bit at the end of the day. And we'd all be a bit more relaxed if we were all together and had a glass of wine. For those that don't drink wine, other beverages are available, and have a chat and have something to eat. So yeah, that's a shame, but it's, we try and do it as best we can virtually. I'm just looking for people who have unmuted themselves. We've just been joined by Stuart Duffy, which is the third musketeer in the recruitment partnership. James couldn't get his mic unmuted. Stuart, you never have any problem in talking.
And that was way too much of an open invitation to take over for the next 10 minutes, Scott.
Yeah. If you don't know, Stuart's from Liverpool, and that means he can talk as well. So there we go.
Lockdown Liverpool, as it's now been christened.
That's it. Yeah. How are things going in your environment there?
It's a bit surreal actually. Now the last 2 days, it's gone very, very quiet in and around the city centre. Yeah, it's just very, very strange, in all honesty. I think it's probably something that's going to domino right across the country unless we get, the circuit breaker or whatever happens next. But we just got to look after one another, stay safe.
Well, I think that's a really good point. We've got a real community here that can look after people and can, and can come together, as we've shown throughout the lockdown with the learning, the webinars, the membership interventions, keeping people connected. Because I think what often happens in these, I mean, clearly we've never experienced this before, but what often happens in these challenging times is that people get very isolated. And it doesn't matter whether you're a fellow of the IEP, whether you've got a PhD or a master's degree or anything, it doesn't matter. You can still feel the same human isolation as anyone else. And so in essence, you know, we wanted to make sure, as I said in my piece, that the reaction to COVID, which is very much a horrible human issue and crisis, we wanted the reaction to be a positive human reaction, and I think we achieved a lot of that. So we're running out of time for the networking now. We didn't allot a great deal of time. Liz, you've unmuted yourself. It'd be great to hear from you.
I was going to say that actually, I think one of the things the IEP has done for us all is to give us some points in the week. You know, when you're at work, you've got the things you're doing. Whereas I think with like the networking and the webinars, all those kinds of things, they've been really good. You know, just points in the week to know when things are happening. So I think it's been really lovely.
Great. Well, it's really good to hear, Liz, and you're incredibly engaged with it and always present and always active. And Liz hosted the fellowship call last week, which was a resounding success. So thank you very much for that, Liz. And potentially we might go out and get different people to host things. So it's really good, really good. Anyone else? We've got a few minutes. Anyone else want to unmute and just give us some final reflections and thoughts? I can go round the list. I can poke you out, point you out if you want.
I'll just reflect on what Liz said. Actually, I think the online learning and all the IEP events have been fantastic. And what's even better, although COVID's a nightmare in terms of the interaction with people, I think it's also made it so much more accessible with all the online learning. It's just been absolutely brilliant, and all the events have been fantastic. And hopefully it'll give more people access to the IEP, I think, because sometimes it's often it can be senior leaders that will go to a lot of events, but I think, you know, when it goes back to normal, I think keeping an element of this lovely format is great, because I think it just brings a lot more people into the picture and a lot more opportunity. So yeah, I think it's great work.
Well, it's certainly the intention, James, to keep the webinar series going and to keep the member activity moving forward. We are a human business, aren't we, in essence? So it's really, really important that we keep that human angle. And Emma says the IEP community has been a godsend. Oh, it's really nice of you to say so, Emma. And to be honest, it's been really, really good. I don't know anything about online learning. To be honest, I didn't know how to work Zoom before any of this. But actually having Emma and Helen and Les to a certain extent as well, just showing the way, and then getting loads of other people in this safe digital environment where if you did something stupid, you don't look a fool, is really great. And then I've been able to use it I'm sharing screens, I'm showing videos, I'm almost at a point, Helen will laugh, I'm almost at a point where I could probably set up a poll and do other things. And, you know, if you'd heard of that 6 months ago, then you would have laughed, I think, really. So, yeah. I suppose final reflection from anyone else, and we'll call it a day, let you get back to your families and your loved ones and everything, and we'll see you next year at the AGM. But before that, we have a dinner. In February, hopefully we can still do that. In March, we have a hybrid event for the second annual IEP Summit. All of you are invited. We'd love to get you there. Hybrid in the view that we may not be able to have quite as many people in the room as we'd like, and we'd also want our international guests to engage, so that'll be fantastic. Thanks to Cognisoft and Emma and Steve Thorpe. We've got the Digital Technology Conference coming back in September next year. It was such a success this year. They are working with us to bring that back along, and all the other things in between. So keep engaging, keep accessing the stuff. It's really brilliant to have you on board, and let's continue to try and enable this to be a sector that is absolutely fundamentally proven to be one of the areas that is provided for the economic recovery. We've got a real opportunity to do that now, and we can't waste it. And it'll only be done through amazing people like you guys. All right.
Yep.